can I use a template for that? Or can I use ChatGPT for that? And the answer is coming up right now. Hello, and welcome to another exciting episode of the Conscious Counsel podcast with your host, Cory Sterling. That's me. I hope that you are doing amazing wherever it is in the world you are listening to this. As always, my promise in recording these podcasts is to help give you information to protect and grow your wellness business with both confidence and clarity. That's the name of the game. We want to make law fun, easy, light, understandable. And this week's episode is definitely going to help with that. In this week's episode, I am going to answer the burning question. Can I use a template for that? Or can I use ChatGPT for that? The reason why this is such an important topic is because obviously with the access to so many different things on the internet now, a lot of people think that they can just do law on their own. As a result of that, people will either, and before it was ChatGPT is obviously a newer version of it. Before ChatGPT, it was all about templates, or I got this template from my friend, or I downloaded this template from the internet. Does it work? Is it good? Can I use it? And I went through a classic situation this past week with one of my clients that was so, in some ways to me, it's so frustrating because I care so much and I want people to do things properly. And I've seen the simple mistakes that people have made in the past so many times. And I just want to help. And I just want them to protect their ideas and their businesses. And a lot of the times people are really stubborn and really certain that the template they have is amazing or that the document that ChatGPT put together for them is perfect. And the answer is that it's not. Okay, it's not. I'm going to tell you a story in this episode that sort of goes through and explains a little bit about why you shouldn't use templates, why you should not use ChatGPT for your legal agreements. And it's never been easier. We've never had more, quicker, more affordable access to document creation, to creating anything actually in the history of time. Now's the moment that things are the easiest they've ever been. But just because they're easy and just because they're simple and just because they're cheap, it does not mean that they work. So the big reason why using ChatGPT or templates does not work or will not work for you or your business, the first reason is because you don't understand those agreements, right? And I've played with ChatGPT a lot around legal agreements. Even if I've tried to make it super simple and really basic, I know what I'm looking for, and I'll see what either ChatGPT gives me, or I'll look at a template that I find on the internet from somewhere, and I just think if I was to use this, okay, maybe I would have the false appearance of confidence around it, but if I actually had to litigate around it, or if I had to legally fight around it, I would be absolutely screwed. And the first big piece why it does not make sense to use these different resources for your legal agreements is because A, you don't understand it, right? So if you don't understand what you're doing, in the same way that I, Cory, do not understand accounting, and I have an accountant who does my books and helps me file my taxes and does all those sorts of things, if you don't understand what you're signing, or you don't understand what the agreement has, or you don't understand what the agreement contemplates, when and if you need to use that agreement, you're going to be screwed. And this is a little bit of the story that I went through this week. So the first thing is that you don't understand it. Secondly is it won't be specific to the goals that you want to have in your business. Right? As many prompts as you can put in, you can say, hey, I want this, I want that. But again, you as an end user, you don't have that much experience working with the law in your specific industry, if it's yoga, if it's coaching, if it's Pilates, if it's retreats, whatever it is. So you do not have the experience and you do not have the foresight to realize, okay, most common problems that will come up in this situation are going to be A, B, C, D, E, F, G. And how does the document contemplate that? That's not something that you think about. You just will say, hey, okay, I'm renting a space out and I want to have these provisions in it. And this is what the person's paying to me. Can you make the agreement? Awesome. You sign it. Then a problem that you didn't foresee would come up. The agreement is silent on it, doesn't speak about it, or even worse, it's contemplated a solution that you don't even understand what you're being legally bound to. And then as a result, when and if the problem surfaces, it's like you don't have an agreement. And okay, cool. Maybe it'll help you collect the money on a month by month basis. But the real purpose for contracts is not to collect money on a month-by-month basis is what happens if someone breaks their word? What happens if there's a disaster? What happens if there's a really big problem? What do the parties contemplate should happen in that moment? So the story I'm going through now I'm pretty relaxed about it, but sometimes I do get frustrated with clients, especially when they think that they know more than me, or they think that whatever they get from ChatGPT is perfect. So this client has a really, really cool business idea that they're running with. And it's also like, let's just talk proportions. This person is investing tens of thousands of dollars into building this business. They want it to be a franchise. They have a particular method and model that they want to build out. And they're banking the farm. They're betting the farm on this idea to work. They don't really have a plan B. This is their business. This is the allocation of their time, of their energy, of their resources. And now they're starting to share the idea with other people because they're trying to build a team, or they're trying to find developers or other people to assist in the process. And in this situation, the client sent me a copy of an NDA. And they said, "Hey, Cory," and I had a consultation. This person has signed up for the Conscious Counsel Plus membership, so I can speak to this person as often as I have to. And they say, "Hey, Cory, here's this NDA. Can you review it, and can you let me know if it's good?" And I say, firstly, I'm happy to review it, but if I don't think it's good, my recommendation is that we use one of our own agreements, so that I draft the agreement for you, because I want to know that I'm using our resources the best that we have. I want you to be protected in sharing this idea with other people. And my client said to me, "Actually, you know what? No, I feel like this is a really, really good document. I feel like this NDA will protect me. And I got it from a friend of mine who has another lawyer, who's a lawyer from another industry, not in health and wellness. And this is the thing that I want to use." And I read the agreement, and it's horrible. There are so many ways that the agreement, A, does not serve my client, B, does not protect my client, and C, is not even relevant to the situation that my client wants to use the agreement in. And I said to them, "Look, I would not recommend using this agreement. You're investing a lot of time and money and energy to build out your idea. I'm happy to give you a discounted price to get an NDA with us that can be specific to this project, who you're speaking with, what you're speaking with about, what you want to be protected, all of those things." And this client was just so insistent that the agreement that they had, that the template they had, was perfect and was great. And the question that I asked them is, how do you know? Because I know for certain that this client does not have legal experience, has never drafted an agreement in their life, and doesn't know what they don't know. But they're trying to cut corners and not trust the process of working with industry-specific lawyers. And look, I get it. It's sometimes investing in things isn't fun, but if you want to be a professional, you have to act like a professional. Part of being a professional is having legal agreements that are industry specific to the situation you want, to protect you for the situation that you're in. And already this client has come back to me with problems because they're sending out this NDA to get signed by other people. It's getting signed, and then people are doing things with the information, and they're coming back to me and they're like, "Hey, Cory, well, actually, I want to enforce these rights under the agreement." And I look and I'm like, "I told you this agreement wasn't good. You have no legal recourse against this person. If the other person hires a lawyer, they have a million legal arguments and a stronger legal position about how what they're doing is fine because of the context of the agreement and the terms of the agreement." So it's just something that always comes up for me where, and look, I get it, but the thing that I've learned as an entrepreneur and someone who's had my own business for 9 years, there are certain areas where you pay for professional services because you need things done professionally. For me, the big area in my life is bookkeeping and accounting, where it's like, I don't mess around with it. I don't touch it. I could use ChatGPT to help me step by step with my bookkeeping or with my accounting, or I could use TurboTax or whatever it is as a small business owner, but I don't, because I need to know that someone who understands my business, understands the complexities, understands the nuances, has me protected. And this situation is just like, it always comes up for me. Can I use this template? Can I use ChatGPT for my agreements? This is the answer. The answer is, if you want to do things properly and you want to protect the investment of your business and your energy and your resources and your time, do not. And the reason why, again, is because you don't understand the nuances of what are in that agreement. You don't understand what you're signing, and you don't understand where all of the blind spots and potential issues that could be confronted down the road if something goes wrong or when something goes wrong will come up. And in the moment, it seems really easy and really simple to be like, oh yeah, cool. Like, I'll just use this for my friend. They used it and they've got a really good business. I hear that a lot of the time. And before ChatGPT, it was always clients who got something from a coach or a mentor. And they assume, oh, because my coach or mentor is good at teaching me about marketing or how to build my business, I assume their legal agreements are good. And I would never make that assumption, because what you're protecting is your intellectual property. What you're protecting is your liability. What you're protecting is doing things properly, in the event of an audit. And the stakes of all of these things are really, really big. So in summary, to the question, can I use a template or can I use ChatGPT? My perspective, my answer is no. And I just went through a story with one of my clients who my client was telling me how great their agreements are and how much they know about the law. And it was a very, very short period of time before already there were problems. And when I wanted to help my client, I was heavily restricted because our legal position was so poor, because the agreement they were using was not relevant to the actual situation that was taking place. Obviously, a mistake that I never would have made and a mistake that I've never made in my business. So I hope that you find this helpful, interesting, and exciting. Definitely exciting is one word for it. If you enjoy the podcast, feel free to share it with anyone that you know. Just shoot it over to them. If you have any friends who are using templates or ChatGPT, or you've had a conversation about law, so that they can understand the realities and what the inbox of a lawyer who has done this for 9+ years, who does this every day, who understands what's going on and really what's required to stay protected. And whatever else it is that you do, make sure you work with a lawyer that loves you. Have a wonderful day.